Hey everybody, it's Baer from Convince and Convert, joined today with my very special guest, my good friend Kelly McDonald. There she is right there.
Hi everybody.
You are coming to us from where?
I am in Austin, Texas today.
And you're not usually in Austin, Texas. Why are you there today, Kelly?
I reside in Dallas, Texas, but I am here to speak to the Texas Bankers Association.
Nice.
And I'm going to be speaking to them in about an hour and a half.
There's going to be some guys with serious hats in that crowd. That's nice. It's going to be solid. Kelly is a brilliant, brilliant marketer and a good friend. In fact, Kelly was the person who sort of got me into the speaking business. So for anybody who has groaned at my bad jokes in some sort of public appearance, you actually have Ms. McDonald to thank for that. But the reason I wanted to have Kelly on the blog today is that she is the author of the new best-selling fantastic book, How to Market to People Not Like You. And you can tell how much I like this book because I got it all marked up. There's all kinds of tape flags. And I've read it like 3 times, which never happens.
Well,
it
thank
is really
you. I'm told it's
really good book.
I'm told it's a fast read.
It is a fast read, which I think is really smart, and it is an excellent, excellent book. And I think the whole field of marketing to people not like yourself is so untapped. I mean, that's the business that you're in with your agency, McDonald Marketing. Tell us a little bit about the book and kind of why you wrote it and how it fits into your career.
Oh, okay, thanks. First of all, happy to be here. Thank you very much. I believe in multicultural marketing, and I know that I don't really look the part. You know, I'm a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Irish girl, originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so what do I know about diversity? But
you're all about the street, Kelly.
Yeah, there you go, the street cred. But having been a resident of Texas for the last 25 years, one of the things that I found was in just looking around me every single day, I was seeing the population change, and especially in Texas where we have a huge Hispanic population, but also a large African American, and in Dallas and Houston, huge Asian markets as well. And you know, I started thinking as a marketing professional, how can we not be paying attention to this? Everybody keeps trying to do marketing the same way, sort of like one size fits all, and defining people by some sort of demographic standards that have usually to do with your gender and your age. Like, we want to target men 18 to 49. And I started thinking to myself, that doesn't tell me anything about a guy like Baer. Baer might be a guy who falls into that age bracket of 18 to 49, but that doesn't tell me anything about Jay. If you tell me that Jay is a forest-dwelling, tequila-loving father, you know, then that tells me a lot more about you. And consequently, if I'm trying to market to you, that's going to be much more helpful to me to understand your values. So my premise in my business, but also in the book, is that we need to use demographic information. It's important, but we really need to market to people's values, because if I can tap into your values, I can tap into what you really believe in, where your heart and mind and ultimately your wallet is going to reside, because people spend money on what they value. If you look at, let's say, people who are parents, you know, do they send their kids to private school? Do they feed them organic food? You know, do they save all year for a family vacation? You know, what's important to them? But their values are going to show you how they spend their money, and consequently are going to be much more helpful to me as a marketer than just saying this is a white family living in a suburb in this zip code making this household income. That doesn't tell me anything about what they care about, what they want, what they hope, what they fear, etc. So the premise of How to Market to People Not Like You is to get past the demographic stuff and to start tapping into people's values.
I saw a lot of social media relevance, partially because that's the prism through which I look at things. But when you talk about people wanting to transact with other people or businesses that share their values, that really resonated with me, because so much of what, at least the brand of social media that I try and practice is to warm up companies and make them more human and build kinship between companies and their customers. So many times businesses need to try and get new business, and what they do is they change their message. And you advocate in this book to actually change your market. Can you talk about that difference?
Meaning tapping into a new market?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's once you read the book, you're like, duh. But before I read the book, it really struck me as sort of a revolutionary concept. It's like, okay, it's not about communicating differently. It's about finding a whole different group of people.
Well, sure, because to me that's one of the fast ways to grow. I mean, if you, presuming that anybody already has a business and that they're at least modestly successful, then you can just keep on keeping on with the business that you've already built. But how do you grow? Well, you can only grow one of about 3 different ways. You can grow either by selling the people that you're already selling more often. So let's say you're a restaurant, and Jay Baer goes to that restaurant. Well, maybe I can get Jay to come in twice a week instead of once a week, but I'm still just getting Jay Baer. Or another way you can grow is by selling that individual more stuff. So in the case of the restaurant example, again, if Jay Baer... Yeah, exactly.
Dessert time.
Dessert and drinks. Or a third way, and I think a better way, is to actually say, well, we already have Jay, and he comes in every single week. What about friends of Jay? What about people who are not at all like Jay? What about retirees? What about new customers? Because my belief is that if you're a good business, you're not going to lose the business that you already have. How do you grow? Well, you grow by tapping into an entirely new market. And that's where people, I think, get stuck because they think, we're a... we're some sort of retail store. These are who our customers are. And they just keep on keeping on. I read a fascinating article. I mean, maybe you'll think it's fascinating too, but I read a fascinating article about funeral homes that was in USA Today a few months ago. Now, obviously, you would think, who's the target for funeral homes? People who have died. Well, not the people, but their families and loved ones, right? I mean, it's not like you can really make people die. So how do you grow your business? So one of the fascinating things that they talked about was that funeral homes had decided, many funeral homes were tapping into the wedding market. Because if you can get past the drive into the funeral home past the cemetery, the funeral homes themselves have chapels, they have beautifully landscaped grounds, they are set up for very formal occasions, and brides are apparently increasingly finding it difficult to book chapels, and they're very expensive and stuff. And I thought, holy smokes, who would have ever thought about having a wedding at a funeral home? And they interviewed some of these brides, and they said it was the most lovely thing in the world, and it was peaceful, and it was beautiful, and it was natural, and and I was like, wow, talk about awesome. Suddenly doubling your business in a completely unconventional way.
Awesome. One of the things I thought was really interesting in the book was this notion that when you do that, right, when you seek out a new market, you have to be sort of ready on the surface, but you also have to be operationally ready, which is really, you say, we want to have weddings, but yet you don't have a liquor license or, things like that, where you just...
Because nobody's drinking at a funeral.
Right. So you have several examples in the book about that, about operational readiness, and I found a real strong social media correlation there, because a lot of people say, let's get involved in Twitter and Facebook, but their email still sucks, or they get involved, they say, let's get a Twitter account, but they have nobody to staff it, or they have nobody to actually respond back, and so it's just, they're not operationally ready.
You're absolutely right. I think that's the most important thing of all is, and we tell our clients that at our company, that before you ever do any marketing, you have to look at your infrastructure and say, are we even set up to serve this new customer that we want? Let's say we've identified this new customer. We definitely know there's high potential there. What are those new customers going to need from us? I think one of my favorite stories that really drives that point home, and I believe I tell it in the book too, is there's an art house movie house near my house in Dallas called the Angelica. And if you think about people who don't go to movies, one of the things that they identified was new moms. And new moms have a heck of a time getting out of the house to go see a movie. But just because you've had a baby doesn't mean you no longer love movies, right? You're still the same woman with the same interests. It's just that now you have a baby. But if you try to get childcare, that's a problem. And if you don't get childcare and you take the baby to the movie theater and the baby starts fussing, then everybody goes, shh, and hates you, right? So the bottom line is women don't go. It's just too hard. Well, they created the Crybaby Movie Theater, and it's 11 o'clock in the morning on Tuesdays. It's timed for baby's first nap of the day. No men allowed so that women can breastfeed comfortably. Baby changing area in the back of the theater so that if you have to change a diaper, you don't have to miss a minute of the movie. And they keep the lights not completely dark. They bring them up just a little bit so that if you have to dig in the diaper bag, you can see. But here's the kicker. So that sounds great, right? And they pack this place with all these moms who come in every single week. And it's packed every week because these women have two powerful things in common. One is they're new moms, so they have that in common with each other. And the other thing is that they're lovers of film. So, but the thing that they didn't think about or anticipate when they first started this is now you have 300 women that are coming every week. What do you do with 300 badass strollers. I mean, really, it's funny and you laugh, but these, I mean, have you ever seen those things? They look like SUVs.
Oh, and so it's like a transformer.
They're huge. And so these women would come with these strollers, and there's not a lobby in the world that's big enough to put 300 strollers. And that is operational readiness. And so while they get an A+++ for effort, there was like, oops, we didn't think about that, you know? And I think that that's the thing that you've got to think about, to your point with social media, is, well, whose responsibility is it going to be to monitor the Twitter account? And, you know, are we going to make it such that they are able within their job description to spend time on this every day? Because it only works if it's in real time and responsive. And, you know, I see a lot of clients that throw up a Facebook page and then they go, we're not getting anybody.
Yeah.
And it's like they didn't have a plan. They didn't have a plan, or, you know, it's a tactic in search of a strategy.
I also loved, because my book with Amber Naslund is so much about corporate culture, and I love the section that you include in there about making sure that your legacy customers and your employees are sort of on board with this notion of going after another market. So if you're a business and you decide, you know what, we're going to try and target the Hispanic market or the GLBT market or the older Americans market, you got to make sure everybody else is on that same page of the playbook. Otherwise, people can like, whoa, that's not what we thought.
Absolutely, and your employees can do more damage for, you know, you got to start internally with making sure your employees are on board. One of the examples that I use in my speaking presentations is I have an ad for Wells Fargo, and the financial services industry is incredibly conservative. You know, it's a very conservative industry. Well, the ad is for it's features two black guys grocery shopping, and it's clearly gay marketing. And the ad says, when two accounts become one. And what I love about it is, because to me it's very respectful. You don't combine accounts with someone you're dating. You combine accounts with someone you're building a life with, right? So they're very respectful about that. And they're saying, when two accounts become one, you know, we're with you here at Wells Fargo. When I use that in a presentation, though, I make the point that if you're going to put an ad like that out there, you better make sure that your business is, in this case, gay friendly, because when those two people come in to open an account, you better have tellers and you better have loan officers and you better have account people who are comfortable sitting across the table with a same-sex couple who wants to open an account together. Yeah, they can't start squirming, because that's like false advertising. And so, you know, it does start with internal, or, you know, you mentioned the Hispanic thing. I can't tell you how many times we've had clients say, are we going to alienate our customers who say, well, this is America, speak English, you know, if we market to people in Spanish and stuff, and even their own employees. And so you've got to prepare. The analogy that I always use is, you don't have a party at your house and invite people over before you clean your house and stock the bar. So you got to prepare. If you're going to throw a party at your house and invite people over, you got to get ready. And that requires preparation.
Fantastic. The second half of the book kind of goes through a lot of the sort of segments of the population in America, Asian population, African American population, Hispanic population, etc., and kind of talks about sort of the needs and desires of those groups, which is really fascinating. I know that's a lot of what your public presentations are based on, which are fantastic. As we wrap this up, what is sort of, obviously you know a tremendous amount about this because you do it in your agency, but when you did the research for the book, was there one or two facts that really blew you away about segments and different populations in the U.S.? Yeah,
actually one of the facts that really blew me away was that women, and you'll like this, that women do more research online than any other group, than men, but also like than blacks, than Hispanics, than Asians, or whatever. Women are very keen on research online. Well, I didn't even know that, and I'm a woman and I'm a marketing professional, but I didn't know that quantitatively. And I think that that's so important, because that's such an easy thing then to address when marketing to women. And let's face it, you know, there's a joke that women make 80% of the buying decisions, and my joke is, well, actually, I think it's 100%, you know, because how many guys are going to actually buy something that their wife doesn't really want them to buy? Yeah. But the point is, have rich content online, because women will read it. And the thing that they love to read the most is testimonials from other women. So, you know, don't be afraid of long copy online. Don't be afraid of, you know, inundating women with a lot of good research and information, and not just the stats and the profiles of whatever your product are and, you know, what it can do and this and that, but also what other women have to say about it, because women will trust what other women say. And when they read something online, they want to read about, well, what did this woman have to say, and et cetera. They really trust that. And that kind of blew me away. And
Yeah.
like I said, I didn't know that. And I think that's such a great piece of a great data point because it's so easy to incorporate that into a marketing plan.
Fantastic. Awesome. Kelly, thank you so much for your time and your insights and for the gift of your amazing book, How to Market to People Not Like You. Kelly McDonald, pick up the book. It's really, really good. I highly recommend it. Good
Thanks,
luck
Jay.
on the rest of your travels, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Jay.